Hey, good Saturday morning, everybody. It's meteorologist Brad Panovich. Welcome to the weekend. Well, both days this weekend, we're going to be dodging scattered showers and thunderstorms, and some could be strong, maybe even severe. Now, this is kind of a typical spring pattern, maybe starting a little earlier than normal, but the good news is I can tell you it's not going to be a complete washout either day, but there is going to be a line of strong storms likely both days, so got to work your way around there. So here's the setup this morning. It's a very interesting setup. We've got this kind of warm front, stalled front across the area. You can see over in Tennessee, we've had some active severe storms this morning, mainly some big hailers, a lot of hail in that. But this is basically the warm front drifting to the north. I'm going to pause this here, and you can see this boundary which extends from the Carolinas back into Tennessee. And real quickly, I'll pop up the temperatures just to show you there's a pretty dramatic temperature difference on one side of the front versus the other. If you go on the south side of the front, temperatures are kind of warm and muggy this morning. Feels like spring. North side kind of chilly. We've got some 30s and 40s up there. It's also a very significant dew point boundary. But the reason this is important is as this front lifts north today, we're going to see showers and thunderstorms develop along that boundary. So expect storms to develop somewhere in this vicinity in the heating of the day, right in here, and probably moving this direction as the whole front kind of lifts to the north. The main system is still back here over Oklahoma. This is going to move in and form the main batch of storms, which will be our severe weather risk going into tomorrow. Real quickly, we'll pop up that severe weather risk today. Let me turn off the satellite image. You could see that low risk along the stationary front, but the higher risk back here into parts of Tennessee, into Arkansas. That's what's going to be heading our way tomorrow. So let me kind of show you how this unfolds. So obviously that's today's risk. We'll look at tomorrow's risk as this shifts off to the east, and you could see how this becomes a medium risk for a big chunk of our area. And basically that front is going to be coming in from the west, interacting with warm, humid air, which will be surging up ahead of it. And that's what's going to produce our severe weather threat for tomorrow. So 2 days of low to medium risk, certainly nothing like we had earlier in the week to our west or even last week, but more of our typical kind of severe weather setup. So let's get into the forecast here. So here we go. You've got the storms back into Tennessee, and that's really what we'll be watching today is if you want to look at the radars, keep an eye on these storms as they start to move east along the frontal boundary, which will be draped over us. And you see as we go into time, I'll stop this around lunchtime today. We're dry, so next couple hours, if you want to get out and do things, you're fine. The times you're going to have to start watching is really starting around 3 o'clock today. You see the storms developing, and oh yeah, by the way, Bristol will be getting rain today. It will be that same time frame, that early to mid-afternoon. And as we go into the evening, look at all the storms that spread out across the area. So mid-afternoon and beyond, so 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, you could see the scattered storms moving across. And again, some of these could be strong. Hail and wind are primary concern. Tornado threat's really low, so that's not off the charts. We go into tonight, and there's likely going to be a lull that develops with this first wave, but here's the main batch building back to the west. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit into tonight. And you can see how things start to calm down over the Carolinas. But look at this main line forming along the front late tonight and pushing to the, that is a gnarly looking line. Look at that. So I got a lot of questions about Bristol. The race is, 3:30 tomorrow, I believe. But tonight there's going to be heavy rain rolling through there with this line. You can see this is 7 o'clock in the morning, basically. So heavy rain over in Bristol. But look, it's dry. We'll actually start the day dry tomorrow as this front pushes to the east. I don't know what happened there. Data kind of disappeared. So it starts crossing the mountains around 9 to 10 a.m., starts pushing east. Now, the timing is crucial. If it starts getting into the Piedmont around noon, the storms will still be strong, but they won't be as strong as if this slows down a couple of hours and gets here just ahead of the max heating of the day. So the warmer, the more humid air that gets pulled up to the north, the more chance that this has to be a pretty nasty line. So there's noon. We go into 1, 2, 3. So notice how into the afternoon it's kind of lingering over us. So I think this early arrival is a little too early. I would look for the same time frame as we're seeing today, that 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock time frame. But just know it could start a little bit sooner. Then it pushes off to the east. And again, by evening, the storms are here. So just real quickly for Bristol folks, it starts drying out around race time. The problem is it's a dirt track, so you got to get that thing dried out and ready for the race on. So it could take a while. But hey, tracks all over the country do it all the time. So this is just a larger scale. So there's a system pushing off to the east as we go into the evening. Then it gets cooler on the back side. So again, the timing today, here's the first batch, then the second batch tomorrow. I know that was pretty quick there. So here's today's batch. We'll go through there. and then here comes the batch tomorrow, basically mid-afternoon. So 2 distinct waves, one today in the afternoon and one kind of earlier afternoon tomorrow. And real quickly, as I'm talking to you, let me show you some of the parameters here. That thunderstorm cape, that we call, it's basically thunderstorm fuel. I'll kind of start and show how it builds today. And again, not knowing it's loading as I'm doing this, but you can see the fuel there kind of loading up as this is pushing in from the east. And you can see kind of a break tonight, and then the main line comes in tomorrow as it reloads. So you can see there's going to be 2 distinct waves. There's the first, right along the boundary. You can actually see it set up right there. That's why we're going to have the storms over us. Things calm down tonight, and then here comes the main wave tomorrow. And notice how the instability mid to late afternoon. So that front gets here in that mid to late afternoon time frame. That'll be the concern. So stay weather aware today and tomorrow. Make sure you have a way to get warnings. Again, you can still get outside and do things. Just know that in the mid to late afternoon hours, you're going to be dealing with some strong thunderstorms. And right now, those storms are over in Tennessee right here. And this thing is heading our way this afternoon. So this is going to be this afternoon storms. Have a great day. I will post updates probably tomorrow again. And just stay weather aware. There will likely be warnings at some point, but the lightning is going to be a big issue as well for any outdoor activities.